Well, hello, everyone. Dom Tiberi here, joined by Nicole Shearin. And it is official, Nicole. Will Howard is the starting quarterback of Ohio State. Ryan Day making the announcement today. Chip Kelly jumping in on it. They're saying that he played the best in practice. They got a good look at him, that the room feels that way. It's big news. Anytime you have a starting quarterback, a new starting quarterback at Ohio State, it is the number one position, not only at Ohio State, for every football team. I don't care if it's Pee Wee football, high school football, college football, the NFL. The quarterback is the most important position. Did it surprise you at all that Will Howard was named the starter?
No, Dom, it didn't surprise me, and I don't really think it surprised any Buckeye fans out there. This is something that a lot of us have been waiting for a long time, and from our perspective, we've been able to see Will Howard at fall camp. We've seen kind of what he's capable of, and I think it was the waiting game. Now we can stop the waiting game. We know who QB1's going to be, and when I was sitting there today, it did not feel like this was a difficult decision for Ryan Day and company to make. It just felt like the right time for them to announce it.
And the thing is, it was time. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. They went out in the transfer portal, and they got this young man out of Kansas State who had played well there. He's a dual threat quarterback. He's got a great arm. The kid can run. He passes the look test. He's 6'5", and he can run.
Runs 22 miles per hour.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't want to collide with him.
Right.
I don't want that. But it was time. You look back at the history of Ohio State football. They named C.J. Stroud the starter on August 21st. They named Justin Fields the starter on August 19th. We're a little over 2 weeks out. It made sense. They handpicked this guy. They brought him here. He had to prove it in practice. He had to win over his teammates, but clearly he did that. And so I am not surprised. We had a feeling it was coming because, you had the head coach and then the two coordinators speak.
Yes.
What did Chip Kelly say about this kid? And for you folks out there that think, it's going to be pass happy, Chip Kelly is a guy that says, run the football to set up the passing game. And the quarterback, and I don't know if you've heard Ryan Day, I don't know if you've heard the rumblings coming out of Ohio State, but the quarterback at Ohio State now, Nicole, is going to run. And I know Chip talked a little bit about that.
Well, that's exactly what Chip said today. He said, you're defending 11 guys now with Will Howard under center because his legs, it's a huge part of their offense. That's what makes him stand out compared to a lot of the other guys. You said it, 22 miles per hour. That's not a normal thing for a quarterback, but that's been the talk of the town this entire preseason leading up to what this guy's capable of. And another interesting thing that was brought up today, Ryan Day actually talked about it, is he said, what's so unique about this roster is the supporting cast behind Will Howard. Will Howard does not need to be a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. He does not need to be a superhero. And that's what stood out to him about Ohio State versus Kansas State. With the Wildcats, he felt like he had to wear a cape every game. But here, he has the guys behind him. Just make plays. Protect the football and make plays. Two easy things that Ryan Day talks about.
And that's a great point that you bring up there because this is not Kansas State. This is Ohio State. And this football team, on paper, ladies and gentlemen, is loaded. When you have Urban Meyer and Jim Tressel saying this may be the greatest team in the history of Ohio State football, Will Howard, and I think he gets it, and I know Chip Kelly and Ryan Day are going to preach, distribute the ball.
Right.
Distribute the ball. Get the ball to the playmakers. Your job is, we don't need you to do it all to win. Just get him the ball. And I think Will Howard gets that. And I think his teammates have seen him develop since coming here. And, no disrespect to Devin Brown. But I do believe that the best guy won out, at least in this situation. Ryan Day has said all along, Nicole, we're going to need all of our quarterbacks.
Right.
We all know what happened in 2014. Ohio State needed 3 quarterbacks to win the national title. This year, it's going to be very well could be a very long season, depending on how this season goes. We have to figure Ohio State will be one of the favorites to get into the 12-team playoff, depending on if they earn a bye or how it goes. We don't know how it's all going to go. But on paper, this football team looks to be loaded. especially on the offensive side of the ball, but many will argue the defense looks to be the strength. We're talking about the quarterback situation now and Will Howard, but you look at the talent that they have at every position on. To me, the big question right now, Nicole, and I think the fact that this guy is going to run is going to help the offensive line. But to me, this is all going to come down on the offensive line when it comes to the offense, because I think they're loaded at the skill position.
Yep.
Do they have the O-line where they need it to be? Because there were some hiccups last year.
Well, and it's still a work in progress. We asked Ryan Day that today, and, we all talked about the bug that the O-line kind of went through, last week. Set them back a little bit. They were still trying to figure out where is our core? Who is our core? And it's important that O-line is established, because the relationship between Will Howard and the O-line is extremely important. I mean, think about it. When you're going to war, you want to know who you're going to war with, and you want to know that you're connecting with the guys you're going to war with. So from Will Howard's perspective, he needs to know who's going to be protecting him, because that's huge in game situations. But I want to touch on something too, Dom, that you said is, what's so unique about Will and his ability to learn so quickly is that he came into this offense and started, working in the spring. He's behind guys like a Devin Brown who have been here for a couple years. They know, to a certain extent, the kind of offense that's run at Ohio State. His ability, and Chip Kelly touched on this today, his ability to take criticism, here's what I want you to learn over the summer, go and run with it. Chip Kelly said that he's never seen a guy go and run with it, not literally, because we know he can do that too, but just run with the information you're given and learn so quickly and make those adjustments that within a few days of fall camp, I mean, the difference between the Will Howard they saw in the spring and the Will Howard they saw in the fall was huge. And, he's the same thing with Air and Julian. They both are coming into a new offense and having to learn. But Chip said that Will is a film junkie. So he was in the film room all the time. That's all he ever did. And it's paying off right now.
And the other thing is, folks, from what I've heard, and it's clear by what Ryan Day said today, that this guy won over the room. He won over the offense. Let me just say this. As an offensive lineman, it's fun to pass block. That's fun to see those big plays. But if you're a lineman, you love getting down and dirty in the trenches. You love opening up the holes. You love your running backs. You love that part of the game, knowing I opened a hole. I dominated the guy over me. And nobody loves a running quarterback than the big boys up front. They love a running quarterback. And I can't wait to see the way that develops. We saw it a little bit last year with Devin Brown. He was the guy that would come in on the goal line situation and would run, and he got hurt doing that. But the big O-linemen love it. And the run, ladies and gentlemen, is back in style.
It is.
When it comes to the quarterback. I know you folks at home went crazy because C.J. Stroud was not running. Well, he ran against Georgia. We saw what he did in that Georgia game. But he didn't run earlier because they didn't want him to run. Well, now they want the quarterback to run. That is another reason why they're saying we might need all of our quarterbacks. Because when your quarterback's running, he's going to take a hit. But I do like the way Will Howard passes that look test. 6'5", 2 what?
230 something,
yeah.
236.
I don't want to get hit by that guy. I don't want to get run over by him. I will gladly
let you go by.
Here's your Matador tackle. Goodbye.
Right.
But I love it. I think that's where we're at, and it's going to be fun to see how it comes together. Just on paper, this team looks loaded, ladies and gentlemen. But I go back to something, and I'll wrap on this. James Laurinaitis said. James said, we could have all the talent in the world, but unless it comes together, the most talented team doesn't always win. We have to come together, and this is a huge step in coming together. They now have a starting quarterback. They got over 2 weeks to get ready for Akron. They have a couple months, basically, to get ready for a huge game. You know where it's going to be.
Oh, we know.
Oregon. Number 2 against number 3 right now. In Eugene.
Yep.
The Buckeyes are coming. That's going to be huge. This is Miss Nicole Shearin. I'm Dom Tiberi. Keep it on 10TV and 10TV.com and all of our streaming platforms for all your Buckeye football coverage needs.